Peace, 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 peace. Peace, love, and light. Happy Holy Day. Happy Holy Friday. This is the Bbt Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School Book Club. And I'm your host, Mufti Greg Moso L. Once again, it is Happy Holy Friday. We appreciate everyone tuning in. All the classes we've been doing over the past weeks with the different muftis. And this Friday, I would like to just go over a few things in chapter 1 of the Moorish Holy Quran. And also highlight something from a book, one of our books in our library called No Excuses. No Excuses, The Power of Self-Discipline by Brian Tracy. Again, The Power of Self-Discipline. The book's called No Excuses. The intro first talks about self-discipline and success. And chapter 1 breaks down self-discipline and character. And it starts off by saying the miracle of self-discipline. There are thousands of excuses for failure, but never a good reason. Mark Twain. Why are some people more successful than others? Make more money, live happier lives, accomplish much more in the same number of years than the great majority? What is their real secret of success? And how many would like to double their income? How many people would like to lose weight, get out of debt, achieve financial independence? All these wonderful and all great goals. We all want to spend more time with our families, be fit and be trim, and achieve financial independence. Yet there's a key component to all of this. Not only do we all want the same things, but we all know what we have to do to achieve them. We all intend to do these things sometimes. But before we start, we visit and vacay to a fantasy place called Someday Island. We all say, someday I'll read that book. Someday I will upgrade my skills and earn more money. Someday I'll get my finances under control and get out of debt. 80% of the population lives on Someday Isle. And just a personal testimony, we all been there. Someday Island, having excuses for things and always, pushing the date for something forward. But, me personally, I was, before I had a business, my herbal tea business, I was, wandering, didn't really have a lot of direction. But I got with the BBT, got with the sheet, the business professional, set up the LLC, set up the DBA, articles of organization. It's about making up your mind that you want to be, successful, that you want to be more than what you may have been taught. It's a daily devotion, rituals, discipline. These are the same things that go with health and wellness and diet. And that's, one of the reasons I wanted to highlight this book. You can't have any excuses when it comes to your health. Your health is number one. The body, the temple. That reminded me I wanted to read some things from just some verses from the Bible about the body being a temple. 1 Corinthians 6:19. Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body. Genesis 1:27. Genesis 1:27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. 1 Corinthians 15:36. You foolish person, what you sow does not come to life unless it dies. It goes on a little bit more, but it's basically letting us know, our body is a holy temple. Our body is the tabernacle built without hands, as we know in the Moorish teachings, and as we know, it's Holy Friday. But before breaking down, going through chapter 1 in the Quran, this book, The Power of Self-Discipline, Brian Tracy. It's definitely a must-have book. And you can definitely get it from us. mypdfbooks.com, bindedbooks.com. You can reach out directly, and we'll definitely get these books to you. Let me continue. So the first rule of success is simple. Vote yourself off the island. No more excuses. Do it or don't do it. But don't make excuses. Stop using your incredible brain to think up elaborate rationalizations and justifications for not taking action. Do something. Do anything. Get on with it. Repeat to yourself, if it is to be, it is up to me. Losers make excuses. Winners make progress. Now, how can you tell if your favorite excuse is valid or not? It is simple. Look around and ask, is there anyone else who has my same excuse who is successful anyway? When you ask this question, if you are honest, you will have to admit that there are thousands and even millions of people who have had it far worse than you. who have gone on to do wonderful things with their lives. And what thousands and millions of others have done, you can do as well, if you try. It has been said that if people put as much energy into achieving their goals as they spend making up excuses for failure, they would actually surprise themselves. But first, you have to vote yourself off of someday I'll. This was something else I wanted to read from this book. It said, who should read this book? This book is written for ambitious, determined men and women who want to achieve everything that is possible for them in life. It is written for people who are hungry to do more, to have more, and to be more than they ever have been before. Perhaps the most important insight of all with regard to success is that to achieve greatly, you must become a different person. It is not the material things you accomplish or acquire that matter so much as it is the quality of the person you must become to accomplish well above the average. The development of self-discipline is the high road that makes everything possible for you. This book will serve as your step-by-step guide to becoming a remarkable person who is capable of remarkable achievements. But it has, it talks about your two worst enemies. Your two worst enemies. Just as self-discipline is the key to success, the lack of self-discipline is the major cause of failure, frustration, underachievement, and unhappiness in life. It causes us to make excuses and sell ourselves short. Perhaps the two biggest enemies of success, happiness, and personal fulfillment are first, the path of least resistance, and second, the expediency factor. The path of least resistance is what causes people to take the easy way in almost every situation. They seek shortcuts to everything. They arrive at work at the last minute and leave at the first opportunity. They look for get-rich-quick schemes and easy money. Over time, develop the habit of always seeking an easier, faster way to get the things they want, rather than doing what is hard but necessary to achieve real success. The expediency factor, which is an extension of law of least resistance, is even worse. When leading people to failure and underachievement, this principle says people invariably seek the fastest and easiest way to get the things they want right now, with little or no concern for the long-term consequences of their behaviors. In other words, most people do what is expedient, what is fun and easy, rather than what is necessary for success. Every day and every minute of every day, there is a battle going on inside of you between doing what is right, hard, and necessary, like the angel on one shoulder, or doing what is fun, easy, and of little or no value, like the devil on the other shoulder. Every minute of every day, you must fight and win this battle with the expediency factor and resist the pull of the battle of least resistance if you truly desire to become everything you are capable of becoming. And as we know in our more science teachings, this is This is a layman's way to break down your higher self and your lower self. And just, what we know, man is, truth and falsehood strangely mixed. You are your higher self and lower self at all times. So it's about keeping those lower self at bay with the higher self. So you can take control of yourself. Another definition of self-discipline is self-mastery. Success is possible only when you can master your own emotions, appetites, and inclinations. People who lack the ability to master their appetites become weak and dissolute, as well as unreliable in other things as well. Self-discipline can also be defined as self-control, your ability to control yourself and your actions, control what you say and do, and ensure that your behaviors are consistent with your long-term goals and objectives is the mark of a superior person. Discipline has been defined as self-denial. This requires that you deny yourself the easy pleasures, the temptations that lead so many people astray, and instead discipline yourself to do only those things that you know are right for the long term and appropriate for the moment. Self-discipline requires delayed gratification, the ability to put off satisfaction in the short term in order to enjoy greater rewards in the long term. Think long term. Sociologist Dr. Edward Banfield of Harvard University conducted a 50-year study into the reasons for upward socioeconomic mobility in America. He concluded that the most important single attribute of people who achieve great success in life was long-time perspective. Banfield defined time perspective as the amount of time an individual takes into consideration when determining his present actions. In other words, the most successful people are long-term thinkers. They look into the future as far as they can to determine the kind of people they want to become and the goals they want to achieve. They then come back to the present and determine the things that they will have to do or not do to achieve their desired futures. This practice of long-term thinking applies to work, career, marriage, relationships, money, and personal conduct, each of which is covered in this book. Successful people make sure that everything they do in the short term is consistent with where they want to end up in the long term. They practice self-discipline at all times. Perhaps the most important word in long-term thinking is sacrifice. Superior people have the ability to, throughout their lives, make sacrifices in the short term, both large and small, so as to assure greater results and rewards in the long term. You see this willingness to sacrifice in people who spend many hours and even years preparing, studying, and upgrading their skills to make themselves more valuable so that they can have a better life in the future, rather than spending most of their time socializing and having fun in the present. Longfellow wrote, "Those heights by great men won and kept were not achieved by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upward in the night." Your ability to think, plan, and work hard in the short term, and to discipline yourself to do what is right and necessary before you do what is fun and easy is the key to creating a wonderful future for yourself. Your ability to think long term is a developed skill. As you get better at it, you become more able to predict with increasing accuracy what is likely to happen to you in the future as the results of your actions in the present. This is a quality of a superior thinker. Short-term gain can cause long-term pain. There are two laws that you fall victim to when you fail to practice self-discipline. The first is called the law of unintended consequences. This law states that the unintended consequences of an action can be far worse than the intended consequences of that behavior because of a lack of long-term thinking. The second is the law of preserved consequences, which says that a short-term action aimed at immediate gratification can lead to preserved or the opposite consequences from those at which it was aimed. For example, you might make an investment of time, money, or emotion with the desire and intent to be better off and happier as a result. But because you acted without carefully thinking or doing your homework, the consequences of your behavior turned out to be far worse than if you had done nothing at all. Every person has had this experience, and usually more than once. And it says there's a common denominator of success. Herbert Gray, a businessman, conducted a long-term study searching for what he called the common denominator of success. After 11 years, he finally concluded that the common denominator of success was that successful people make a habit of doing the things that unsuccessful people don't like to do. And what were these things? It turned out that the things that successful people don't like to do are the same things that failures don't like to do either. But successful people do them anyway because they know that there is a price they have to pay if they want to enjoy greater success and rewards in the future. And this is something, Sheik always talks about, and Malik, with all this, fitness and training and working out. Have a consistent routine and regimen for 30 minutes. It's building a habit, building positive habits. So we can see those, physical results and mental results. And like it says that he found that successful people are more concerned with pleasing results, where failures were more concerned about pleasing methods. Successful, happy people were more concerned with the positive, long-term consequences of their behaviors, whereas unsuccessful people were more concerned with personal enjoyment and immediate gratification. Motivational speaker Dennis Waitley said that the top people were those who were more concerned with activities that were goal achieving, whereas average people were more concerned with activities that were tension relieving. One of the concepts it breaks down is called dinner before dessert. The simplest rule in the practice of self-discipline is to eat dinner before dessert. In a meal, there is a logical order of dishes, and desserts come last. First, you eat the main course and clean your plate. Only then do you have dessert. There's a cute but misleading bumper sticker that says, "Life is short, eat dessert first." Just think what would happen if you came home after work and instead of eating a healthy dinner, you ate a large piece of apple pie with ice cream. What kind of appetite for healthy, nutritious food would you have afterward? With all that sugar in your stomach, how would you feel? Would you feel re-energized and eager to do something productive? Or would you feel tired and sluggish and ready to write off the day as largely finished? You get the same results when you go for a drink or two after work and then come home and turn on the television. There are simply different forms of dessert that largely eliminate your ability to do anything useful for the rest of the evening. Perhaps the worst part of it is that whatever you do repeatedly soon becomes a habit. And a habit once formed is hard to break. The habit of taking the easy way, doing what is fun and enjoyable, or eating dessert before dinner becomes stronger and stronger, and it leads inevitably to personal weakness, underachievability, and failure. Yeah, and I just wanted to, that power of habit, I've seen it. We've all been there, and I mean, specifically in diet, people start to eat sweets, continue to eat certain, foods that are mucus forming and foods that are just point blank hurting you, But you keep eating, a person keeps eating a certain type of food even though it's, making them larger, making it hard for them to breathe, all because they have a habit of going to that fast food place. If you don't break the habit or that ritual that you don't, it's just like when you spend a certain amount of money on certain things that you buy habitually. You might buy tobacco, you might buy herbs, you might buy, fast food, chips and snacks. It's like, if you don't take a step back and look at the habits that you formed in your personality and your lifestyle, you'll continue to build and build and build bad habits until you destroy your body, destroy your finances, and at worst, destroy your whole life. So building these healthy habits in all aspects of our life is definitely the key I take from this book, and cross-referencing it with the Quran, chapter 1, just talking about, different habits we have with, eating, different habits we have with things we watch, the music we listen to. All these things are forms of habits and rituals that we have in our lives. And if we're not conscious of the habits we're forming, it can get out of hand. To continue, it says the habit of self-discipline. Fortunately, you can develop the habit of self-discipline. The regular practice of disciplining yourself to do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not, becomes stronger and stronger as you practice it. You refuse to make excuses. Bad habits are easy to form, but hard to live with. Good habits are hard to form, but easy to live with. As Goethe said, everything is hard before it's easy. It is hard to form the habits of self-discipline, self-mastery, and self-control, but once you have developed them, they become automatic and easy to practice. When the habit of self-discipline are firmly entrenched in your behavior, you start to feel uncomfortable when you are not behaving in a self-disciplined manner. It says, when the habits of self-discipline are firmly entrenched in your behavior, you start to feel uncomfortable when you are not behaving in a self-disciplined manner. The best news is that all habits are learnable. You can learn any habit you need. You can learn any habit you need to learn in order to become the kind of person that you want to become. You can become an excellent person by practicing self-discipline whenever it is called for. Every practice of self-discipline strengthens every other discipline. Unfortunately, every weakness in discipline weakens your other disciplines as well. To develop the habit of self-discipline, you first make a firm decision about how you will behave in a particular area of activity. You then refuse to allow exceptions until the habit of self-discipline in that area is firmly established. Each time you slip, as you will, you resolve once again to keep practicing self-discipline until it becomes easier for you to behave in a disciplined way than to behave in an undisciplined way. The big payoff. The payoff for developing high levels of self-discipline is extraordinary. There is a direct relationship between self-discipline and self-esteem. The more you practice self-mastery and self-control, the more you practice self-mastery and self-control, the more you like and value yourself. The more you discipline yourself, the greater is your sense of self-respect and personal pride. And the more you practice self-discipline, the better is your self-image. You see yourself and think about yourself in a more positive way. You feel happier and more powerful as a person. The development and maintenance of the habit of self-discipline are a lifelong task, an ongoing battle. It never ends. The temptation to follow the path of least resistance and the expediency factor lurk continually in the back of your mind. They are always waiting for an opportunity to pounce, to lead you astray into doing what is fun, easy, and unimportant, rather than what is hard, necessary, and life-enhancing. Napoleon Hill concluded his best-selling book of the same name by saying that self-discipline is the master key to riches. Self-discipline is the key to self-esteem, self-respect, and personal pride. The development of self-discipline is your guarantee that you will eventually overcome all your obstacles and create a wonderful life for yourself. The ability to practice self-discipline is the real reason why some people are more successful and happy than others. And that just reminds me of a quote. It says, you can either live with the pain of doing the work, or the pain of the regret of not even trying. So I mean, this book definitely goes in on just habit and discipline. I mean, it continues to break down a lot of different concepts on self-discipline and personal success, which is part 1. It says, your success in life depends more on the person you become than on the things you do or acquire. Aristotle wrote, the ultimate end of life is the development of character. In these chapters, you will learn how to develop and use discipline in order to become an excellent person. You will learn how to develop great self-esteem, self-respect, and personal pride. You will learn the essential disciplines required for personal greatness and how to build them into your own character and personality. Islam, peace, and this is part 1. So yeah, this book was on my heart, Nobles, just because, I've been dealing with some loss and some of my friends, some of my old brothers. This self-discipline is key to, getting goals accomplished, no matter who you are and what your goals are. The discipline to execute them, write them down, make a plan, have a start date, have a middle date, have an end date. We all have talents and skills and projects that we want to complete, and it takes the same execution in all areas. So now I was going to read a little bit from chapter 1 of the Moorish Quran. So I'm just going to break down go through chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. Time never was when man was not. If life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. No finite mind can comprehend things infinite. All finite subject unto change. All finite things will cease to be because there was a time when they were not. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things, and they will change. Yea, from the finite point of view, the time will come when they will be no more. But man himself is not the body, nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah. And creative fate gave to spirit man, a soul that he might function on the plane of soul. Gave him a body of flesh that he might function on the plane of things made manifest. Why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Why did creative fate give to soul a body of flesh that he might function on the plane of things that are made manifest? Hear now, ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Hear now, O protoplas, and earth, and plant, and beast. Hear now, ye creeping things of earth, ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. Hear now, ye winds that blow, ye thunders, and ye lightnings of the sky. Hear now, ye spirits of fire, of water, earth, and air. Hear now, O everything that is, or was, or evermore will be, for wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of spirit life. Man is a thought of Allah. All things of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time, for the things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of Allah are the everlasting, of the past unto the never-ending days to come, and so is man the spirit man. But man, like every other thought of Allah, was but a seed that held within itself the potencies of Allah, just as the seed of any plant of the earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that especial plant. So spirit man, as seed of Allah, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. Now seeds are perfect, ye as perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded into life made manifest. The child is as perfect as the mother is. So man, the seed must be deeply planted in a soil that he might grow, unfold, as does the bud unfold, to show the flower. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was full ordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul, and of the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman of everything, that is, threw forth this human seed into the soil of soul. It grew apace, and man became a living soul. And he became the Lord of all, the kingdom of the soul. Hark now, let every creature hear, the plane of soul is but the ether of the spirit plane, vibrating not so fast, and in the slower rhythm of this plane, the essence of life are manifest, the perfumes and the odors, the true sensations, and all of love manifest. And these souls' attributes became a body beautiful. A multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. And here he tarries many ages until his lessons are learned. And as it says, these soul attributes became our body. Our body was formed by the greatest aspects of our Creator, and it's up to us to maintain it. That's the pact that we make. Maintaining our body, maintaining our minds, keeping our heart clear, drinking water, eating fresh, eating kosher, using the herbs of the earth, the biblical herbs and tinctures. All these things is to maintain the holy tabernacle of man and woman. And it says, a multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. And here is where he tarries many ages until his lessons are learned. Upon the boundary of the plane of soul, there he must overcome. Yea, overcome them everyone. Essence took on a final garb. The perfumes and odors of the true sensations and the all of love were clothed in flesh. and man was clothed in flesh. Perfected man must pass through all the ways of life, and so a carnal was full manifest, a nature that sprang forth from fleshly things. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. I repeat, without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. And our foe is our lower self, and your soldier is your higher self. And without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength, and thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And so this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all the plane of manifest, or protoplast, of mineral, of plant, of beast. But he given up his birthrights just to gratify his lower self. But man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Yet he must suffer trials and temptations manifold. But let him know that cherubim and seraphim that rule the station of the sun and spirit of the mighty Allah, who rule the solar stars, are his protectors and his guide, and they will lead to victory. Man will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he suffers on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul. When man has conquered carnal things, his garb of flesh will then have served its purpose well, and it will fall and will be no more. And I can, personally say, this chapter 1, anytime death comes or any, homegoing service comes, I always reach back to this chapter 1, man, because it breaks down the essence of man and woman and our bodies and what we are. We aren't just our bodies. We are a spirit. We are a soul. We were put in this body to learn lessons of the flesh, not to be consumed by our flesh, not to be slaves to it, to truly master it, and be a master of our body. So we shouldn't be destroying our body with, poisons, liquors, bad foods, beer all the time. Ain't nothing wrong with enjoying anything in moderation, but the body is our temple. The body is a tabernacle, and it's up to your Godhead and your appetites and your habits to leave in the best quality of life that you got your body. And this last paragraph says, then he will stand untrampled on the plane of soul, where he must complete his victories. Unnumbered foes will stand before man upon the plane of soul. There he must overcome, yea, overcome them every one. Thus hope will ever be his beacon light. There is no failure for the human soul, for Allah is leading on, and victory is sure. There is no failure for the human soul, for Allah is leading on, and victory is sure. Man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah, and while Allah lives, man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe, upon the plane of soul, the seed will have fully opened out, will have unfolded in the holy breath. The garb of soul will then have served its purpose well, and man will need it nevermore, and it will pass and be no more. And man will then attend unto the blessedness of perfectedness, or perfectness, and at one with Allah. So yeah, that chapter 1, the creation and fall of man, is a powerful chapter. It has a lot of exoteric meaning, a lot of, spiritual breakdowns. And, we invite brothers and sisters to come join us for our Holy Day classes. We do book readings every Friday. We're sponsored by BindedBooks.com, where treasures are bound, MoorishHaberdasher.com, HerbsOfMayat.com, Herbal Teas of Teas. We have ALO Design Pros if you need any design work, website, AI, logo. We are the BBT Burning Bush Tabernacle. We're a one-stop shop for wellness, fitness, business, biblical study, Quranic study, Moorish science. You name it. We got a lot of different businesses, a lot of different skills, music. Our brother Brian Hicks Bay, BHB Music. We have a lot of talent within our brotherhood and sisterhood. Empress 9 Designs, a lot of women's clothing, Moorish garb, regalia, fezzes, turbans, kufis, head wraps, shoes, suits. We have a whole website, MoorishHaberdasher.com, MoorishHaberdasher.com. I'll put it on here on the lower banner. Well, like I said, we have classes every Saturday, 12 noon, 12:30 Eastern Time. We work out at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And then Sunday, we work out again at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And Sunday school class is 4 p.m. And we welcome all brothers and sisters who want to be a part of what we're doing and fellowship with a good brotherhood and sisterhood. And again, I appreciate all nobles and empresses who tuned in. Again, we do these book readings every Friday. I'll get out of here with our Moorish prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Nawaju Ali, Shalom Aleichem, Ayar Asher Ayar. Peace, 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 love and light. Islam.